What's poppin', guys? This is another what if. This is what if Issei had the power of 3 dragon gods, part 2. Now, you might be wondering, yo, Slick, what the fuck's with this video? I mean, sure, you had part 1, the last one, and this is going to be an 18 plus, by the way, but what the fuck is with the video? Like, I mean, you made him broken his shit, and he's hiding his strength. Why would he hide it? Simply put, element of scare the shit out of motherfuckers. In this version, Issei, this is when we're cutting back where we left off. Issei just got in there and he's just waiting. He's hiding his strength from Riser, though. So not even Rias would think of him as a threat. Literally, he makes even Konako and Kiba look like a fucking joke. This is when he's basically, against Riser, he turned on the boosted gear to act like he was weak as shit, not revealing that he was actually strong enough to kill Riser with one shot. And that was him in his entire peerage, including probably the entirety of half of existence with that one shot, but still. Existence, eternity, and apocalypse are like, why does Dre get to be the one to show out? Simple. No one fucking knows about y'all's existence. Well, they do, but they know if whoever has y'all are dangerous as fuck. And probably that word hasn't spread to this guy. Which, yeah. Issei is still a part of the period, by the way, so I don't know if I mentioned that, so yeah. This is when Issei's just basically, he hears Riser say, Riser has returned to the human world. Issei thinking, this is one really cocky motherfucker. At least when I'm cocky, it's because I can actually whoop everyone's ass. Everyone at all. Come to think of it, I wonder what would happen if I actually got jumped by all of existence. Like, everyone in existence, as well as existence himself. I think they could whoop my ass. Which, alone, without any of his gears, at full power, makes even existence look like a fucking joke. He could literally play basketball with existence's body rolled up like a ball. That's not even just a joke, it's something he can actually fucking do. And he's been training trying to figure out fucking dragon form since he's strong enough, but he wasn't sure if he should try to get a dragon form or not. He's thinking about it, but he doesn't know. Back to the what if, though. As Issei's kind of, just hearing Riser, doing all this shit, but he's actually still looking at him with glee. Well, not glee, but because Riser still made his old peerage and everything appear, and starting to fondle Yubaluna, and all that, because Issei still had the goal to become a harem king. That shit stayed as canon. But in this version, the first thing that happened when Riser was doing this in front of Issei said, alright, motherfucker, you want to pull your shit? I'll pull mine. He walks forward right up to Rias, who's sitting right next to Riser, and who's basically standing up at this point, pulled her towards him and kisses her like a full-fledged kiss. French kiss, by the way. This is when Rias is all blushing and everything, saying, oh, Issei. Issei, who's got the biggest fucking smirk on his face, says, hey, Riser, bet you can't do that, bitch. Hearing he was just called a bitch, Riser's willing to kill Issei, but he's stopped by Greyfield with the ice blade saying, attempt to kill someone else's peerage member, and you will be terminated yourself. Riser, who's shitting himself at the moment, saying, okay. Because Greyfield knows, she's probably the one of, honestly, if Surzex or anyone in his peerage came out, they could kill Riser and his entire peerage with one swing. But they're not going to do that. Well, they may not. They might. I don't know. Well, I may make another what if where they're going to help, but you know what? Yeah, I'll make that. But anyway, back to what if. Issei's kind of doing his thing. He's just sitting around working out. Not really working out, but prepping himself. And I do mean prepping, like, for a full-fledged fucking fight. And by fight, I do mean an ass-whooping fight. But back to what if. Now, Issei, who earnestly does know how to, do all this, he knows how to handle Riser, but he keeps wanting to piss him off. This is when Issei, who sees Riser all pissed off, Issei straight up just walks forward, right past Greyfield, because Greyfield knows she ain't doing shit to Issei. She's scared of Issei. And also kind of attracted to him, so yeah. Issei proceeds to walk right over to Ravel. noting he could feel signatures of energy, and this one was were beyond extremely alike. It was like they were twin. It was like they were siblings, which he kind of asked her, "Hey, are you siblings?" Ravel saying, "Yes, why?" Issei saying, "Oh, perfect." As he winked at her, and she just started blushing, since part of being a dragon meant that girls just straight up fell in love with you instantly. Like, it was one of the dragon perks, but thing is, most dragons were too prideful to go with so many women, unless they were strong women. Issei didn't give a fuck if they were strong, weak, or anything. He was basically an asshole dragon, meaning that he was a dick to everyone. He was a complete dick. Like, anytime people pissed him off, he was like, okay, bet motherfucker. He was petty as shit. And Drake, even all the dragons in his mind straight comment, you should be called the Dragon of Pettiness. He's just saying, I like it. I may keep that name. Of fucking course you will. This is when Issei, who knows that, because, like, if you're a certain strength, if you're above the strength of the person of the being in your gear, in base form, you can basically kick them out of your body. But if there were multiple, it'll be as if that strength didn't exist when you're trying to kick out the second being. So you have to be a bare minimum as strong as every creature in your body to kick them all out. And that'd be all of them combined. Now, because no one's ever been on the same level as the heavenly dragons, they've never really been able to be kicked out of a body. But back to the what if. Issei, who doesn't give a flying fuck, and it's not just like getting out the gear, it's like straight up, they're now back in existence. They're no longer in their gears. But back to what if. Now, Issei, he basically kisses Ravel the exact same way. Ravel getting kind of hot and bothered. Extremely hot and bothered. This is when she's kind of just fidgety and everything, and Riser's basically attempts to actually kill Issei with all the power in him. He's instantly beheaded by Graphia. And Graphia straight up blew apart his head with one tap of her finger. You might be thinking, well, that's not going to do shit. As Riser's head regrew, saying, ugh, ow. Graphia straight up said, well, you shouldn't have tried to kill him. He's kissing my sister. If that was all it took, wouldn't Sir Zex be here trying to kill Issei right now? Okay, fair point. Fair point. Issei saying, ha. This is when Issei straight up started to cackle a little bit, saying, listen, Riser, if we do actually wind up fighting, I just want you to know, I'll only beat your ass enough, where you won't die, but you'll wish you were dead. Riser taking this as a threat, and thinking, this cocky little shit, I'll beat his ass. Rias, I want to actually have this raiding game. Right? Rias, who said, good, because we're having it. Issei with the biggest smirk on his face saying, hey, Riser, one more thing before you go. Walks right up to Yubaluna and makes her actually moan, because she was faking it with Riser. Gave her the best feelings she's ever had, saying, that's how you please a woman, dumbass. Riser, whose mouth is agape, he's looking eye to eye with Issei. This is when Graphia said, hey, Ravel, would you like to stay here for a moment? We need to speak about you becoming your own king. Because, that's a thing you need to do. You're a devil, goddammit. Besides, at this parade, you should already have a full fucking, at least a member of your peerage. Which, kinda true, she should, but she doesn't. She chose to stay with her brother, not off her own real choice, but off the fact she couldn't really join. This is when Ravel said, that would be kind of nice. But this is when we go back to Issei. Now, they basically stop, and Reese and, surprisingly enough, Sona pull up, saying, we'll teach you everything you need to know about being a woman in your own peerage. Issei straight up, sorry about that, guys, but Issei straight up saying, if you're going to be a woman in your own peerage, you need to get strong enough to hang with people. What do you mean, strong enough to hang with people? Well, you need to get more strength, physical strength, and magical strength, because I feel like you're weaker than Riser. Yeah, I am. I couldn't really be part of my brother's peerage if I was stronger than him, could I? I don't fucking know. I don't know how peerage shit works, but, wait, yes you could. What do you mean? You'll see. Okay. Whatever. As this is when Ravel actually said something that pissed Riser off, since he's still kind of tapping in and watching this shit. She actually asked if Issei would sleep with her. Issei straight up said, one condition. We have to do it at my place, and your wings have to be out doing it. Deal. Issei, with the biggest smirk on his face, said, yes. Now, they do it, which, of course, they would. Issei's just straight up having the time of his life. Ravel's basically always repetitively coming. And Issei with the biggest smirk on his face when he's done after his, well, third time. This being all it took for the entirety of Riser's family to be watching in on what's happening. Alright guys, sorry about that. My brother just wants to yell at my name as loud as he fucking can to interrupt all my videos. But, let's go. So, Issei, who straight up just barely finished, the entire Phoenix family watching this shit. Like, because Riser was watching this with his own thing and yelled at his parents that Ravel was no longer a pure maiden. Them hearing this saying, what the fuck? Riser, you better not have... Oh, shit. Someone slept with your sister? She's supposed to stay out of doing that until marriage. The entirety of the Phoenix family ready to go over to Issei and threaten his life. Thing is, they didn't know what the fuck they were going up against. The only one who said he'd stay back, this is when they said, Riser, we'll trust you in this one time. Kill that boy during your game. If you don't, we'll kill him after. This is when Riser said, I actually kind of want to let him live after my game. What? After what he did with your sister? I want him to die during the wedding. Sounds perfect. Basically, this plan in their head that they were going to basically knock Issei to the point where he was at that brink and have Issei come to the wedding, even if he wasn't fully conscious. They postponed until he woke up and have him chained down to a bed. Issei, who could basically read their fucking minds from existence, said, alright, that's the shit they want to pull. Let's fuck with them a little bit. That's y'all's plan. Let's fuck them over. Issei basically telling Rias what their plan was. Ravel, basically not even knowing what the fuck's going on, doesn't have the ability to say anything. She just left. Like, she literally just left before Issei said this shit. Wait, what? Your plan is to lose? Don't worry, Rias. I'll just beat his ass afterwards. And if he still wants to try marrying you, I can just kill him. Fair point, but don't worry, I'll make it look like it was a struggle. Fine. How bad are you going to beat him if something happens where you need to? We'll see. Basically working out the whole plan. Konako would go with Kiba. And Issei would look battered and bruised after each fight he got in, and even look worse after each. Then, he would straight up just keel over against Riser himself, leaving Rias and all them to basically just forfeit since they didn't have any more powerhouses. The entire group hearing this saying, the fuck, man? We were planning on going out there and trying our damnedest to fight. Y'all still can, I don't mind, but I'm gonna rip their heads off just once the thing is done. We'll trust you this one time, dude. We're held back to basically a quarter of our strength, each of us. Sweet, and I'm only going to use basically how much would it be? A millionth of a percentage. What? A millionth of a percentage. 100 millionth of my power. Do that, I guess. I don't fucking know. Them all basically saying, the fuck is this guy made of? Whatever. This is when Issei straight up said, alright, well, we have to do the training, so let's go. Basically, their opponent was Issei, and if they could beat him, they get a cookie. Not really just a cookie, like, they would be getting... The more power they got, if they were able to defeat Issei at certain percentages, then they were going to be given rewards. For Kiba, his reward would be... Well, for him, he chose more training. For Konako, it was basically sex. For Akino, it was sex. For Rias, it was sex. And Asya, you already know where the fuck she chose. It was sex. But this is when Issei said, fine. I kind of want to let them all win. But I have to give them a challenge, so basically checking each of their power, going right above it at first. First match, he stayed right above their power. He told them if they could defeat him, they win. But only when he's using this much strength. Not even using the gears. When they actually were able to actually come close to injuring him. And they might be thinking, well, but Malika, but Slick, how is he going to do this? Well, here's what happens. Appearing. He's basically locking away most of his strength each time before the bout. And it's working out hella good. Like, he's having to hide his strength each time. Noting, though, he's kind of just having the dragons inside of him hold on to it. Admittingly, they aren't doing shit against him, but they're just holding it down. Like, straight up saying, Issei, we're holding it back, but we're going to get our asses beat. He says, I know. It's a good time for y'all to train, too. Basically saying, look, it's still just me, so y'all don't have to worry that much, right? Fine, I guess. Having to tap into, basically tanking each attack, and eventually the first one to actually be able to beat him was Konako. You might be thinking, well, of course she could beat him. She's a rook. She can hit hard as shit. She used her speed to do it. You might be thinking, but she's slow as fuck. How the fuck she beat him if it was speed? Simple. She used a back kick, like a donkey-style kick, but upside down and hit Issei right in the nose. Issei, who was using so little power, actually almost died by this kick, being kicked as hard as Konako could, then being punched for almost half a minute straight. Issei admitting, yeah, she won that one. Basically just powering up and healing completely. Then going down to the same, saying, alright, you'll get your prize tonight. Then against, Kiba. Kiba beat him by the skin of his teeth with the strongest blade he can make. After about 7 of them shattered against Issei. That's because he was basically fighting against Issei with a sword. Now, because of that sword, which Issei wound up just taking a regular-ass wooden sword, and basically anytime he felt like he was in danger, he would pull it out and swing as hard as he could. Even if it broke the sword, it would shatter whatever it touched, since he would install it with just about enough energy to break shit. He would install it with destruction energy, which is part of what he has, which isn't the same as Rias' destruction. Rias' will, rip something apart. His will literally make it no longer exist. Sure, Sir Zex's destruction is closer to Issei's, but not even close to his level. Back to what if, though, as this is when Issei was basically just fooling around against, all of them, and eventually they all were able to beat him after the 4th day, giving them what exactly they wanted, increasing just ever so slightly to the point where they still couldn't beat him. And then for the next 3 days, same shit happened. But y'all didn't really come here to hear me talk about training. Y'all came here to hear me talk about something else. So yeah, we're talking about the rewards. Kiba had to fight against Issei for 4 hours straight. That was his reward. And Issei would install dragon magic into at least 2 of Kiba's blades. Both being one of his strongest and his actually called his dragon sword, which was kind of his weakest sword, actually. I remember thinking, why is it his weakest sword? Because he trains with it the least. And it's just big as fuck. It is 400 pounds. Now, yeah, that's what it means. It's 400 goddamn pounds. So moving the damn thing would be damn near impossible. And I do mean damn near impossible. Because Kiba actually has to use his knight speed to even drag the thing along the ground, using all his momentum to swing it one time, but anything he hits with that damn thing is going to shatter. Issei held the damn thing saying, it's light as fuck, man, but it's heavy as shit to me. I get what you need. Here. What the hell is it? As Issei basically pulled a jar out from a bag that he was holding that said anti-bitch pills. It was literally just Tic Tacs that he put, that was just in a jar that he labeled anti-bitch pills. Kiba was pissed off and actually tried punching Issei in the face for this one. Basically damn near breaking his hand. Having Asya heal him. Once that was done, like, Kiba actually took one, which Issei actually said, I infused it with dragonic magic, dumbass. Wait, I thought they were just regular ass Tic Tacs. Nah, I wouldn't fuck with you like that. I mean, I probably would, but when I feel like it. Fair point. This is when they kept training, and Kiba now actually able to get the damn sword off the ground. Not exactly swinging it around like it's a toy, but he's able to get it off the ground at least. And by no means is he, like, weak, but he's not exactly strong either. He's not as strong as a rook. He's a knight, so he's kind of fucked over in the strength department. And with Konako basically having to run as fast as she fucking could, training her sprinting ability and speed with her punches. Issei basically teaching her how to actually box properly, which she wasn't bad at fighting, but she didn't know how to properly fight. She only knew straight up brute force methods, which didn't really help her in the end. But once they were done, most of the fights wouldn't take anywhere near as much power. Because they're only using 3/4 of their strength, though, it does make it a little bit harder on them, since they're now actually at the same level they were at Canon at this point. And against those 3 pawns, it was literally a joke for Kiba, so it's going to be an actual playtime with Konako there as well. And with Issei noting the queen didn't come to stop him, as if they had a plan against him. Thinking, oh, they're going to wait to jump me, but this is when he notes that after getting jumped by 4 people and barely coming out alive, thinking he's stronger than he looks, he must have had a reason for being so cocky. He uses the boosted gear, boosting that barely any power he had, saying, Drake, act like my max amount of boost is like 6. But why, partner? At the strength you're using, it'd be far more. How many would it be? 23. Huh? Yes. Perfect, actually. I can use as if it's like 23 is my most the whole time. Sure, partner. Issei, who knows how to go into balance break with all 4 gears, but just decides not to. This is when Issei completely was absolute in his devotion. But in this version, Rias did something that deviated from the plan. She went there earlier than she was supposed to, making Issei and Kiba, who Konako still got knocked out because the queen still went over there and blew up Konako, who basically booted Kiba as far away as she could so he wouldn't be affected by the explosion. Issei, knowing what happened, is pissed off. Then Kiba kind of appears behind him with, where he was, and pulls Issei in saying, hey, this is what's going to happen. Issei saying, yeah, I know, let's go. The first thing that happening, knowing that Kiba had to use sword birth after an intense-ass duel. And he was winning that fight, too, but he still used sword birth, and Issei used transfer to make it all look properly of a fight. But Issei was just still, flicking his wrist around at this point. The amount of strength he's using is enough for, him to flick his toenails at people. Not even, off. Really, it's just enough for him to, flick his pinky at people. And that's still enough to damn near kill people with his power. So, yeah. Back to what if. Now, Issei's basically now notes that Kiba got taken out of the game. This is when he hears Rias Grimmery, Queen has been retired. Issei kind of expected this, saying, Akino must have fought like hell. This is when he gets hit with the explosion that he actually has to act like it hurt him. All it did was blow apart his shirt. He looked at Ravel, who's standing was standing pretty damn close to him, who's actually throwing fireballs at Issei. Issei basically peck-popping them off of him. Not really just peck-popping, but hitting them a little bit. Though there was a few that hit him in the chest, he just flexed his pecs to move him backwards a little bit. So when they exploded, it wouldn't really hurt him that bad. I mean, it wouldn't hurt him anyway, but still. Issei was basically acting like he's taking hella damage this whole fight. Doesn't reveal that this is literally doing nothing to him. He's using illusion magic from existence to make this actually look like he's struggling even a little bit. It's not working. I mean, they all think it, but it's really not. None of their attacks are affecting him. This is when Riser Issei having about 4 boosts, showing left that Drake said he was saying, there's 4 boosts left, partner. Are you sure about this? I am. After those 4 boosts, Issei, who was basically said the gear yelled out, time out, as it stopped working, because Issei kind of fully turned it off. Cracking his neck a little bit, saying, fine, promotion, queen. This being all it took to tank attacks from Riser. Though, Riser thinking, oh, he's just straight up being the queen, that's the only reason why. And yeah, that was what it was in canon, but in this version, it's not that. It's straight up not even a fight for him on Riser's best day. Issei is basically bouncing attacks off of him, but making it look like they're slowly killing him. Riser stops when Issei straight up acts like he passes out, and Reese when she shows that she's out of magic, she's still only about 25% left, so she acts she was out of magic, said, I give up, just don't kill him. Basically tackling Riser. Issei, who looks exhausted, but basically is faking it, he knows that this was nowhere near a fight for him. Riser doesn't, no one does. Well, I mean, Issei's own team does, but no one on Riser's party thought it was a close fight. Like, they all thought, oh, it was one hell of a fight, they were stronger than they looked. That Issei kid was a lot stronger than I was expecting. Using just barely more than they were, using a little bit more than he had done in canon. As this is when Issei would kind of wake up that night, basically hearing what was going on, and fake that he was still asleep. All he was doing was training against those the 3 dragon gods and 1 heavenly dragon, and them jumping him versus with him no gear. Now he's easily 10 times the strength of existence without his gear. Without any gears on, he's 10 times the strength of existence. But in this version, they all teach him over a 24-hour period, hold on, 1 day, 5 by 4, you know what, I don't know, I don't really care, guys. Yeah, basically in 6-hour intervals, over that 24 hours of him acting passed out, he was training each of them in their own gear. So against Drake, he was training boosting, against Eternity, he trained with his time gear. Against Existence, he trained his, I guess it was Existence gear. And against Apocalypse, training the Destruction gear. Training each of them to their max, them all being at stage 5, which is the highest stage anyone's ever reached. That's the stage where it's all the way up to your elbow, and actually has a shoulder blade, well, shoulder circle thing. And this is when noting there's one more evolution that he can get so far. No one's ever gotten past this evolution, saying you must hold the gear out completely for 4 hours straight, but not using any of its abilities. So it's basically just an endurance test with the damn thing. Yes. Or actually using all of their abilities, but not no balance breaker. Just holding it in base form, boosting, increasing time, all that shit. Issei thinking, well, I guess I can try that later. This is when Issei kind of turned all his gears off, saying, okay, I'll turn y'all back on when I need him. You won't need them at all, I know. But I want still to activate him to make it look like it was actually a fight. And this is when he said, Asya, I need a cross, the rosary you have, and some holy water. Can you do that? Asya saying, here you go. And this is when he gave her one quick kiss before he left. Popping his neck, saying, oh, this is gonna be fun. As this is when he actually said, they are claimed that he woke up. They're planning on chaining him up, but they didn't get the chance. Because Issei, even though he was supposed to be asleep in their area, like with Asya having to stay with Issei because of Rias' orders, this is when Issei straight stood back up, ready to kill. Not really kill. He doesn't want to. He wants to kill Riser, but he's not gonna, because like even if like he could kill Riser like it was a joke, but he decides not to. Off sheer dumb fucking luck, Riser's going to survive this, and his sister. So yeah. This is when Issei walks out. But this is when, being told that there would be a duel between him and Riser, wanting that, saying, "Deal." This is when the rest of the Phoenix family didn't note that they had a little bit of a barrier set up for if Riser was to pass out, they would all jump in there and kill Issei. And they didn't think, oh, it's not even going to be a real fair fight, even if the boy somehow beats Riser. Once everyone agreed, and Sir Zex basically said, hey, if you win, I'll give you 3, wishes from me, all that shit. Issei said, deal, I'm not going to hold back. Popping his neck, Riser's thinking, what the fuck? Is he thinking he's going to beat me? Was he holding back? Well, before, not a big deal. I can handle his weak Issei was 4 gears on, walking forward. All of which reaching his, not having a groin plate yet, but being at the edge of getting one from both of those other ones. Having basically everything but basically going to all the way up to the shoulder, would be getting a chest plate and a back plate as the next 2 evolutions. First, the chest plate, then the back plate. This is when Issei, with a smirk on his face, said, oh, this is going to be good. Well, what the hell? Those are all in 5th stage evolution. And what the hell are those gears? Riser ready to basically beat Issei's ass until he sees those gears. With his jaw dropped, Issei, who still hit his power though, beat Riser's ass, and right as he was about to kill him, he was stopped by Ravel jumping in front of him. The Phoenix family didn't reveal that they had a way to get there to Ravel, so she just straight up found it on her own. Ravel begging Issei, saying, remember our time together, please don't kill my brother. We can have more time like that if you don't kill him. Issei stopping the fight, saying, deal. The entire Phoenix family ready to kill Issei, teleport in. So Zex didn't even give a fuck. Didn't want to help Issei, didn't care to help Issei, because he knew he wouldn't fucking need it. Issei, who basically said, oh, y'all are going to attack me. Riser's 2 older brothers, father and mother, are ready to kill Issei. Actually, not the mother. Like, Ravel and the mom, like, they're there, but that's just because the mom was actually planning on throwing a Phoenix tear to Issei just to piss off her family. Because when she was younger, she did the same kind of shit as Ravel did. Because, honestly, she wasn't a hoe, but she wasn't exactly the purest girl when she got married either, so, yeah. As this is when Issei, with the biggest smirk on his face, pulled back 1 solid punch, and knocked out one of the brothers. And this was just from the red gauntlet. Then, pulling his other hand back, boom! Knocking the other brother clean the fuck out. And these are both high-class devils. Both of which being at the brink of having 10 wings. One has 10 wings, the older one, and the weaker one, only 8. But these still are very powerful creatures. One being at the brink of 10 wings, the other just barely getting it. Issei, who had 2 kicks ready, thinking, I won't need my second kick, I guess. Kicking Riser's father right in the head. This tore the father's head off. Issei, noting that while all of them had just risen from the ashes because they're phoenixes, he said, okay, good, y'all aren't going to be collapsed that easily. When Riser straight up took a sword and threatened to kill Issei and trying to hit him in the face with it, which is one that his family brought him, the Phoenix Blade, which would basically amplify a Phoenix's abilities 200-fold for 1 swing, but it would only work once every 24 hours. But it made, and even the weakest Phoenix, even Ravel, if she swung this 1 blade, it would make it as if it was like the power to actually kill most gods. It, with the strongest Phoenix, actually has a chance of killing Great Red with 1 swing. Admittingly, that's like at best chance. But still, this is when Issei straight up looked at the blade and said, this is gonna be funny. As it basically bounces off of Issei. Full swing. It was the hardest swing Riser could ever do. Bouncing off of Issei, and Issei straight up just looking at him saying, how'd that one work? Boom! 1 shot. Riser was out like a fucking light. He wasn't killed, though. He was just knocked clean the fuck out, since he had no more healing ability, so he was just working as a normal human at this point. Then, when his other brothers tried to go kill Issei with their full fire ability, Issei straight just, well, one-shots each of them. Because this was as hard as he hit them, it was enough for them to use all their healing ability before, so they literally would just clean the fuck out at this punch. His father, using basically a forbidden move, because it was any different Phoenix that would hold the sword, and because his father was actually far stronger than him, being beyond 10 wing. Actually almost a 12 wing, but not quite. Noting that it would take Sturzax himself to kill him, but not when he's holding this blade. With this blade, he's the king of devils. Hell, with this blade, he's the king of existence. At least that's what he thinks. Since with this blade, he could kill Great Red and take that title. As long as Ophis didn't appear right afterwards, he'd be fine. If she appeared like 2 days later, he said he can kill her too. But he wasn't expecting what he had to deal with. When Issei saw him pick up this blade and chug a phoenix, the blood of Phoenix, which is the blood of an actual fucking phoenix, he says, oh shit. Because Issei knows what this means. This means that he's going to be at least 400 times his strength, even just off phoenix blood. But now that he's also, as well holding that blade, it would actually be a strike that could easily kill Great Red. So this swing as hard as he could, noting this strike would kill Great Red most of existence if it hit. But he didn't care, since he was aiming it towards, heaven, so it wouldn't affect him if all the angels died or anything. Issei just bounces off of Issei just stops on Issei's stomach and almost cracks the blade. Issei looks down saying, hey, that was my shirt. How are you not dead? Since he's basically gruff and grumbly after, well, this was one shot. Like, this Phoenix blood makes you at least 400 times your strength for 10 seconds. So, without the blade working, which already had a 200 times multiplier to his already 400 times multiplier, he's scared shitless. Issei cracking his neck saying, I'ma kill you now. No, please, wait. Basically, Issei beating his ass. So, yeah, which Phoenix, with that ability, could straight up heal from a single cell of theirs being left. Issei didn't turn him into that, but it was beating his ass to the point where he was struggling to heal. He no longer had any healing ability, and Issei throwing the meanest right kick, knocking the head of the Phoenix house on his ass. Knocking clean the fuck out, Issei stood strong with his fist raised in the air with all the gauntlets. This is when his full strength was unleashed. He started laughing, almost monstrous, saying, you really thought you could kill me? Ha 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 ha. You will die where you stand. Ravel and the wife of the current head of Phoenix jumps in the way. Issei stops with one step before he was about to actually absolutely stomp the head of those 4 boys, since he lined them up. Now they'd basically be one hit, and all their heads would rip off and kill them instantly. Issei was stopped by them women, straight up tackling him, begging him not to kill them. Ravel offers the same thing she had before. She would literally do whatever it took to save her family. The woman straight up said if she would divorce her husband and get with Issei if that's what it took for him to stop. She cared about her boys too much. She didn't really love her husband anymore, though. So still, saying, even if you just take the head of the household, just please don't kill my sons. Issei completely stopped, saying, you'd really do that to protect your kids. Look, if it's what you want to do, do it, but if it's not, I don't care. And Ravel, it's whatever you want to. As he walked away and vanished, and basically flew away with all these dragon wings coming out of his back. Flying away, this is when the strongest woman in the Phoenix clan, Ravel's mother, would get a little giddy herself. Issei, with the biggest smirk on his fucking face, said, "Aw, adorable. You're a little gitty. As he went into her mind and said, hey, if it's whatever you want to do, I don't care, but I didn't kill them. There you go. Your devotion was strong against the face of an unstoppable enemy. You were willing to do anything to protect your family. If only more people were like you. Goodbye. I'll be in Kuo. Just do whatever you want, I don't care. Ask your daughter for directions to my place if you want to. If you don't, I don't care. And if your daughter wants to come, hell, we can make this a three-way. The mother, never thinking she'd hear this, says, okay. Then, Issei, using zero fucks given technique, grabs, basically as he walks out, grabs Rias, holding her to him, saying, good job, and kissing her. As she was straight up kiss him right on his face, Issei with the biggest smirk, because she's straight up doing a French kiss with him. He overwhelms her, and the entirety of the Phoenix family are pissed, especially Rias' father, which they don't have they don't have the Grimmery ability. They have the destruction, which is not the Phoenix ability. The Grimmery ability, I don't know what the fuck the Grimmery ability is. I really have no fucking clue, but still, I'm gonna say the Grimmery ability, which is surprisingly enough not shown by either sibling. They only have the other power from their mother's side, not their father. I'm going to say, is red. Is basically the ability to use your blood as a sword. And that sword could become far more dangerous depending on what you have in your blood. Now, because of a strong devil like Serzex's father, with this blood sword, stabbing Issei, it wouldn't attack his body. It would attack his blood. Like, it would force Issei's blood to deal with his own, which would kill most beings in existence. Issei straight up looking him in the eyes as his sword pierced his chest, saying, that all you got? Basically flexing as the blood shattered. Issei straight up saying, I drink the blood of devils for breakfast, right? What? Then again, it's also more dragon blood, so... As he grabs the blade, and basically turned it back into his liquid form, since it's no longer in the hand of the Grimmery. Drinking as if it was just some regular-ass drink, saying, the head of the Grimmery House terrified. This has never happened before. No one's ever had the willingness to ingest the blood. If you do, you die. It's never been stopped. It didn't matter how strong you were, if even a drop of their blood was to go into your body, you usually would be fucked over. Hell, that's the only reason why the original God of the Bible died. Because in the fight, a single drop from the head of Phoenix, the head of Grimmery blood, went into his mouth. And that was in the middle of a fight against another Grimmery head. The true head of Grimmery, which is the older brother of, basically the uncle of Rias and the uncle of Serzex. The only reason that Serzex and Rias are as powerful as they are, Serzex mainly because he's the one who got the strength. It's always been in the Grimmery family, the stronger of the two the older of the two are far stronger than the weaker and younger sibling. Which has always been happening. It was like the Grimmeries were considered another Devil King status with their strongest one. It was the death of the strongest Grimmery that kind of led to Serzex becoming as powerful as he was. Because if the strongest Grimmery was still alive when the next one was born, they would not be half-ish their strength. Surprising enough, the father, the actual true head of Grimmery, who was the head of Grimmery before, his brother had to take over after his death, in honor to name his child, named him right after, because I'm going to say the actual was Grimmery Zex, was Zex Grimmery, which, putting the word Sir before the name, was all the change they did to it, Sir Zex Grimmery. But that's really nor here nor there, but back to what if. Now, as Issei straight up just said, whatever, as he walked away. Then straight up just walking away with Rias right next to him. The entire peerage going with him as he flew away back to the human world. Which, he was able to basically use his magic, basically make a magic portal through the dimensional gap to get there, which has only rarely been done by creatures of such strength. Issei stopping by Great Red saying, "Hey, yo, Great Red." Great Red saying, "What can I help you with?" I wanted your help with something." "Well, if you need my help, what do you need?" Kind of scared of Issei. "Alright, so what I need you to do..." "Yes?" "I need you and Ophis to combine your strength for something." Alright. Sure, I don't see why not." "Oh, and the Dragon Kings and Heavenly Dragons." "Sure." Issei, who straight up just had Ophis hearing this thing said by Great Red saying, okay. The Heavenly Dragons who have never been seen, and the Dragon Kings, other than Vitra, would all appear. If you're wondering why not Vitra, because Vitra was sealed away inside of a gear. And I really don't want to make any reason why he could come out, but yeah. So Issei, who stood there saying, "Alright, now, I want all of you to unleash everything you got at me." Using all the strongest beam attack they had from basically fire breath, hits Issei. Noting, this is very powerful, yes, but he feels like it's not strong enough. Issei, with no gear open, nothing, is tanking this blast, and actually is not even letting it hit him. He's literally breathing out, like, same way a dragon will, but with no element. He's straight up just breathing out. It's enough to basically make this thing look like nothing. He blew out all their flames with one breath, as if it were a mere candle. Issei then saying, "Alright, now. Good, now you'll need to train to get strong enough. I want the Heavenly Dragons to train to get the power of a Dragon King. I want the Dragon Kings to train to get the power of a Heavenly Dragon. I want the Dragon Gods to basically train to the point where they're stronger than the previous Dragon Gods." Yes, sir." "Good, now, I'm gonna go do my thing." This is when that night, this is when the two women from the Phoenix clan appeared in Issei's room that night, saying, "Oh, you're already here." Closing the book he was reading and setting it down, asking them what's up. They said, "Look, we'll do this one time. Maybe we can have fun." Not noting, this would get both of them pregnant. You're thinking, wait, but Ravel's way too young to have a kid. Yes, but I'm going to say because of Phoenix ability, they don't look like they're pregnant until actually 9 months, and because of devil magic, she's going to hide the look of it, but any devil will know she's pregnant. Her brothers and father are pissed. They were thinking about going back after Issei, noting that even if they all... This is when they said, if you even all drank Phoenix blood and used that blade in succession, which admittingly is stupid as fuck to do since that may kill you to do, basically telling them how it would straight kill them to use that too many times, since it did take a little bit of life energy to swing that blade for the first time, basically using its ability. But back to what if. Now, Issei basically laughing his ass off, noting that both of them were pregnant with boys. Rias wanted a kid as well, so she would try having a son with Issei. Because the entire underworld felt Issei's strength, Kokubil basically didn't know what he was going up against. So when he ever went to Kuo, he straight up got ripped in half. Issei straight up saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. I already killed him." What? You killed a fallen angel, leader just with one strike? Yeah, he pissed me off. He threatened me. He threatened to kill Rias, so I kind of ripped him in half. What? He didn't... Yeah, I kind of made sure to kill him with one fire breath. Okay. The entirety of everyone is scared of Issei, though. So, yeah. This is when... Next, we have the whole fight against, that one dude, against Volley. First thing Issei did was straight up just headbutt Volley, and Volley's on the ground, knocked clean the fuck out. Issei grabbing that dragon sword that Michael gave him. Then, I know this is going to be kind of sucky, since I'm kind of not making this into a three-parter, but yeah. This is when Issei would basically look about things, how he has to now go to the underworld, and he didn't give a fuck, like, he was fine with it. They go to the underworld, and they were surprised what they found. The entirety of the underworld felt like it was off. That's because there was two beings in the underworld that shouldn't be there. Like, they're never there, so it felt off. The power was too high in the underworld. Issei saying, I know this strength. As in this version, whenever they went to go see Tannen, because Tannen already met them, they knew he wasn't some ravenous dragon. He was straight up front with him at once, saying, we're testing how strong you are without Issei's help. And Rias, you're not going to be there either. Okay. Issei saying, this will be funny as fuck to watch. Grabbing popcorn to watch this shit. The entirety of this fight being watched by Great Red, Opus, and Issei. Even Azazel and Sirzex was watching this, with Reese there too. Reese says, I'm kind of worried about them. Issei saying, don't be. They're not weak. Besides, they still have the dragon pellets I gave them. What, you mean those anti-bitch pills? Yes. I still don't get how you named them that, because I felt like it. Are you going to make any more? Whenever I feel like it. So when's that might be? I don't know. Which, yes, Zenobia still joined the group, since, the revealing that God is dead kind of still had to happen. She had to give up being, part of that church, though, thing, after hearing about it, and join the Grimmery Peerage. Being a wielder of Durandal makes her actually a threat to everyone but Issei, since she couldn't really hurt him with, that swing. It was straight just bounce off his shoulder. Back to what if, though. Issei, who's not holding back, then straight up said, alright, that's enough, Tannen. Tannen, who was actually far stronger since he was told by Issei, train, motherfucker. He did. And Kiba was actually able to hold his own with slicing. He was dealing pretty good fighting against him until he gets his ass whooped. Then, they have to deal with the whole thing. And by whole thing, I do mean the whole fucking thing, Issei didn't really show what he was fully capable of, since he used his full strength and made Tannen shit himself, saying, Issei, why? Look, I want to learn your dragon martial arts, and I'm basically learning how to turn into a dragon myself. Wait, what? Issei revealing a giant, multicolored dragon with 4 different colored abilities, and that he was easily in balance breaker for each of these. And he could even go into Juggernaut Drive, it wouldn't even affect him. But this is when Issei straight up revealed his strength has now reached enough to absolutely drop everything in existence with a toe. Literally a flick of his toe. And everything's done. Now, they were still in the underworld going to the party. In this version with Kuroka, Issei strip said, join us. Kuroka saying, I don't think I should. I'm part of, Volley's team. I don't think I could. This when Issei straight up said, look, Ophis bows to me. Everyone bows to me. Even Volley. So, join me. Fucking talk to your sister. So I don't have to deal with this shit. Okay? Yes, sir. Good. Now, let's go back to this fucking party. That's right when Loki would appear. Issei popping his neck saying, Ayo, Loki. Oh shit, it's that kid. No. Back the fuck up. Back the fuck up. Summoning all of the beasts there to try slowing down Issei while he was trying to escape. Issei straight up running past them and headbutts Loki right in the back. Loki, who's in so much pain by this, roars out in pain. This is when Issei had basically said, look, Loki, I'll make you a deal. Yeah. Look, you don't have to agree with shit because I know you got a mischief. Mischief is your shit. So, we get it. You ain't got to agree with it. But do note that if you try to come after us again, I will with one hand shove your head underneath the underworld. How the fuck are you gonna... Can someone give me a rock? Someone with Earth Magic Strip just creates a rock saying, here you go. He took it and basically made sure it was the exact shape of Loki's head. Here. Being it was the same size as Loki's entire body, turning it into the same shape as Loki's body and head, grabbing it by the throat and slamming it as hard as he could, planting the damn thing underneath the underworld. They were all like, what the fuck? Yeah, I'm not dealing with that. Hell, even Hades felt this shit. Said, what the fuck? Hey, no one's supposed to be able to get down this low. Oh, shit. Issei going down there saying, hello, Hades. What the fuck are you doing here? Oh, I just came to say what's up. Okay, why'd you break my ceiling? How'd you break my ceiling? I threw a rock. How the fuck? Literally, beings of existence couldn't break out this bitch. Yeah, but they're not me, though. I'll give you that one. Alright, later. Hey, repair my roof. No. This is when they actually had to make a small thing to patch this up. Issei, who didn't really care, saying, Alright, now, Loki, do you understand me? Yes, sir. This is when Volley and his full team arrived. Volley basically looking like he'd recovered from an ass whooping, since he's still covered in bandages, from Issei still beating him bad enough for that. He marked him as battle scars, noting he had a giant ass cut on his chest, his back, and all that shit. Even a cut clean through his stomach, saying, Alright, now. As Issei kind of popped his neck, saying, That was a good fight. Now, let's have some more fun. As he basically said, Now, Volley, what the fuck do you want? Volley walking up, not giving a fuck, but still answers Issei with all the most respect. Well, sir, I've always wanted a dog, so I was hoping I could get Fenrir. Loki saying, as he started laughing, saying, Ha, you get Fenrir, what a joke, you're not taking him from me. This is when Issei raised his hand, saying, Hey, I'll make you a deal. Tell me why you deserve Fenrir. I don't, but we're planning on making him into a puppy for our team. I'll make you a deal. If your team can give me 2 reasons why. Kuroka said, I'll be the first reason. Okay, I guess that's reason 1. This is when all the gods were like, he's such a pervert. He's just saying, no, but I'm accepting this. I mean, can you look at her? She's literally the hottest Nekomata cat I've ever seen. This is when Konako would actually walk up right behind Issei saying, I guess I'll be number 2 for this one time. Issei saying, yes, 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 fuck yes. Doing the biggest joy dance they've ever seen, and because no one's willing to swing at this motherfucker, they are not saying, oh, you don't look right, that doesn't look like proper etiquette for speaking to being in a party of high-class devils and shit. No one's gonna say that since they're scared shitless of Issei, so yeah. They just let him do his dance. Then he walks away, letting Fenrir be given to them. As he kind of pops his neck, saying, this is gonna be fun. He has his fun with them, and they enjoy it, like, fucking tons of it. This is when the entirety of the group basically said, that was amazing. The group now having Fenrir, and kind of losing Kuroka, though. She now moved in with Issei, who got his house renovated, so it would actually be some better place, which worked pretty damn well. Issei, who didn't really give a fuck, said, sure, what's up? As he proceeded to pull all his shit somewhere else. He pulled it to one of the farthest areas from where he was. He pulled that shit to the edge of... He pulled all his stuff out to see what he wanted. Never mind about that shit, guys. Now, this is when we're going to battle against all of them. Now, thing is, there was a deal made. Issei wasn't allowed to use any gears. Better yet, unless Reese was the only one left, Issei wasn't even allowed to participate. Now, if they took out Reese before they took out anyone else, which they weren't planning on doing, but because, Sour 1 tests his metal, he said, I actually have an idea. I want to go against Issei. No gear, though. Me and my entire group versus him. Because he felt this was a threat big enough, they all put their power together inside Cyberorg. Cyberorg's eyes open, giant glowing orange, as he proceeded to get the meanest power up. Even with the axe, he now wielded his armor and was fighting Issei at a damn near standstill. Issei, who's actually knowing this was a hell of a fight. Like, one hell of a fight. Every punch would make the entire earth shake underneath their pressure. No one's felt this before. Issei throwing his final punch, knocking out Cyberorg. But he stayed standing. Issei stopped punching, saying, damn, you're strong, man. Patting him on the back and healing him. Still waking up his mom. In this version, Issei, now being the strongest being in existence, releases existence, releases, releases eternity and releases Apocalypse. Eventually, Apocalypse was the one who killed Existence. Issei straight up said, "Why the fuck did you do that?" As this is when Issei noted something odd. He had a tattoo on his forehead. Not really a tattoo, but magic markings. It was in the shape of Existence. Because Existence straight up gave his powers to Issei. Issei known as the Petty Dragon God. Since he was petty as shit. Which everyone knew, that's why no one tried crossing him. Now, this is the end of the What If. I'm sorry, guys. This is all I'm doing. But yeah, this is the end of What If Issei had the power of 3 dragon gods. Now, he would even release Drake, who became the 4th dragon, who was the strongest one out of everyone now. Well, not everyone, but, out of the heavenly dragons, even though they trained to come on the level of God, on heavenly God level, but they weren't quite there until Issei, with the biggest smirk on his face, showed that the one who's been literally training with him for years is there. They were just barely underneath it, while he was above Ophis. And that's what made him the new dragon god. This is all it took for Issei to now note he's the ruler of Existence, and that's the final part of this What If. Bye, guys.